Welcome to Quiet Minds, the podcast where we explore the unique experiences and challenges of being an introvert in an often extroverted world. So, my name is Vanessa. I'm your host, and welcome back to my channel. Today, we're going to dive into a topic that's both sensitive and significant, and I'm going to talk about the loss of friendships and the feelings or isolation that can sometimes accompany those losses. So, if you're an introvert struggling with the pain of losing friends, in this video, I'm going to explore how to deal with losing friends and provide tools for introverts to cope with the loss of friendships. And whether you're experiencing a recent fallout or navigating the slow drift of one close friendship, understanding how to deal with losing friends is crucial for your emotional and mental well being. So, join me as I share with you some practical strategies and insightful advice for you as an introvert. And I'll discuss why friendships might end, the unique challenges introverts face in these situations, and most importantly, tools for introverts to cope with the loss of friendships. From self care tips to seeking support and embracing new opportunities, this episode offers you a comprehensive guide on how to deal with losing friends. So, friendships are a fundamental part of our lives, and they offer us support, joy, experiences, and a general sense of belonging. But what happens when those friendships fade away, or even when they abruptly end? And this is a reality for many introverts, and it's something that they face, and it can be incredibly tough for us to navigate and to heal from. And as introverts, we often form like really deep, meaningful, authentic connections and friendships and relationships, but with only a select few, right? Mostly because we're super protective of our energy and who we allow in our lives and in our hearts. And these bonds and these relationships are really precious to us. So losing them can feel like losing a part of ourselves. And maybe unlike extroverts who may have a wide circle of acquaintances and friends, introverts may find it harder to replace, quote unquote, lost friendships. And for some introverts, this can lead to feelings of isolation, rejection, and even loneliness. So let's talk about why some friendships might end. And sometimes it's due to life changes, moving to a new city, changing jobs, starting a family. Other times it might be because of a natural drifting apart, right? Sometimes as we grow apart from our friends and sometimes even our own personal relationships. I always say is you either grow apart or you grow together. And that's just part of life, right? And acceptance is how we'll find peace. But in the meantime, we need to process and grieve the losses that we do experience. So, for introverts, the end of a friendship can feel particularly jarring because of the emotional investment and trust that we put into our relationships and our friendships. And I just want to say that for some introverts, the isolation that follows can be extremely overwhelming. We tend to like withdraw, we process our feelings alone. So it can feel, when we're going through something dark and heavy, it can feel really isolating. I know that's how we do our healing, but when it comes to like actual losses and ending of friendships and relationships, ones that we formed based on trust and safety, it can really set us back. So, and you might honestly find yourself wondering if you'll ever form like another close relationship again, right? But it is very important to acknowledge your feelings and understand that your feelings are completely valid. And here are some reasons why friendships and the loss of friendships or betrayal feels particularly impactful for introverts. And the first thing is deep emotional investment. So, introverts often invest our time and our emotional energy into our friendships, and we choose them carefully. And these relationships are built on a foundation of mutual trust and understanding. So, when that trust and safety is broken, it feels like a deep personal loss. And sometimes it can take us to a very dark place, like I mentioned, where we just isolate ourselves while we process our feelings and our emotions. And that's just how we are. We go within and, we work through things on our own, and that's okay. That's just how we process. Also, limited social circles. So, with fewer close friends, each relationship that we do have holds more weight. And the betrayal of one friend can feel even more amplified because we don't have as many other relationships to fall back on, so to speak, for support and comfort, right? So if we tend to have only a few friends, so if we do have any falling outs with one of those few friends, we don't have a large group of people to lean on to support. But honestly, like I feel as introverts, we don't really we need ourselves and, like we said, a couple people for support, but also vulnerability and openness. So for many introverts, opening up to someone can be a significant challenge, right? We tend to hide ourselves sometimes and until we feel comfortable and safe. But when we do, it is really a testament to the level of trust and comfort that we feel with that person. So betrayal in this context can feel like a rejection of our authentic self, and that leads to a deep sense of hurt and betrayal. Also, our sense of safety. Introverted friendships often provide a safe space where we can be ourselves without judgment. So if we have a friend that we feel betrays us, it can shatter the sense of safety and leave us feeling very exposed and vulnerable. So, how can we as introverts, and how can you as an introvert, cope with the pain of betrayal and begin to heal? And here are a few strategies. First is to allow yourself to grieve. Understand that it's okay to feel sad and to mourn the loss of a friendship, and give yourself the time and space to process your feelings and your emotions. There's no time limit on how long you should grieve or be upset or be angry. Allow yourself to process those emotions. Also, reconnect with yourself and use the time of your healing to focus on self-care and self-discovery and engage in things that you enjoy and that bring you peace, right? Sometimes it can be hard when we're feeling the way we're feeling, but just doing something, if it's reading a book, sitting by the water, getting a tea, doing something to allow ourselves to almost like get out of ourselves, because sometimes it can be all consuming. So to go into the energy and an environment of something that we enjoy can let us process things just a little more gentler and a little more calmer. So reflect and learn. Take time to reflect on the experience of your loss and also the friendship that you did have while it was there. And what did it teach you about yourself and your own boundaries? And use those insights to strengthen your future relationships. Also, journaling your thoughts and feelings can be a very helpful way to process your feelings. And I'm sure many of you know that who are listening. I actually have a journal called The Quiet Mind on Amazon, and it is a journal for self-discovery. I think there's more than 70 questions that help you kind of dig within yourself and reflect on your own self and your own journey and what you truly want in your life. And that includes, there's some questions based on friendships as well. So I link that in the description and the comments below, but you might find that helpful as well. Also setting healthy boundaries. So as you move forward and as you process and heal the loss of the friendship, it's important to set healthy boundaries in your relationships and understand what you need from a friendship and communicate those needs clearly. And this can help you build stronger, more fulfilling connections in the future. And those needs are going to be different from everybody. So you kind of have to understand your needs that you want in a friendship. And if you know those needs aren't being met, then it's time to like maybe reflect on what you're allowing to take place and tolerate in your friendships. So embrace new opportunities. And while it's natural to feel hesitant, right, and resistant about forming new friendships and connections, do try to stay open to new opportunities. And sometimes new connections form in the most unexpected ways. I've met people literally in line at coffee shops, and we've been like 6, 7 years later, we're friends. Again, like I only have like a couple really good friends since I was 5 and 9, and I'm 48. But I do obviously have other friendships and connections that I've made. Um, I just choose to have only a few people that I just allow my full self to be seen. I'm sure you guys listening probably will understand that. But also, and there's also leaning on existing support systems. So you can reach out to family members or friends who can provide support for you. And sometimes just talking about your feelings can make a significant difference. Mostly it's when you're ready. For introverts, like we like to process first, take a few days to process, and then we can start to talk about things with other people that we super, super trust. But I find that just getting it out of my system and having someone validate my feelings and experiences is healing, right? Because sometimes the loss of friendship, sometimes we can judge yourself a lot or question. And it's just very natural for things to end, right? We're not going to be friends with all of our friends for the rest of our lives. That's just not how it works. However, again, with any loss, grief accompanies that. So we need to move through that with grace and with love and with self-compassion until we experience some healing and some acceptance and some peace. And just remember, healing from loss or betrayal, my friends, it takes time. And it's a very personal journey. So be patient, be graceful with yourself, and recognize that it's okay to set boundaries and to protect your emotional and mental well-being. And I think that's all I want to talk about today. Just wanted to give you guys, I know a lot of people had requested for me to talk about endings of friendships. So I wanted to cover that. And I know I said it earlier, it's very, very hard for us to trust people and to feel safe with people. So when someone does something to break that safety and to break that trust, it can really put us into a dark place because we're so discerning of who we allow into our lives. So it can set us a little bit back, more so maybe than the average person who can just brush things off. I'm not saying everybody can. Everybody has to heal, but I find introverts are super sensitive. We're full of substance and meaningful things, obviously mean a lot to us. So when we feel like those things are gone from our lives, it can really set us back. So, and again, we may walk with a little less trust and a little less safety, feeling safe in this world, but we will heal and we will mend and we will feel like ourselves again. But in the meantime, it's important to allow us to have that time to process any loss of anything and to, like I said earlier, reflect back on what you want to take from this friendship and what you would want to take into a new friendship. And that's it. Don't judge yourself. And forgiveness, I didn't mention forgiveness earlier, but forgiveness, my friends, it's not about saying, what someone did was okay. It's saying, I'm having forgiveness for this situation because if I don't have forgiveness, I'm going to have anger and I'm going to have resentment and I don't want to hold that in my heart. So forgiveness is the only way you can set yourself free. Have appreciation for what you did have. Understand that things come to an end, friendships shift, people grow apart, and that's okay. And in acceptance of that, you can find peace and you can find healing. All right, so that's all for today. I appreciate you listening. I appreciate all of you guys in the community. Grateful for you. Let me know if you resonated with this episode. I would love if you guys left any comments or liked the video if you liked it. Share it with anyone that you think might find it helpful. It always helps my channel and it helps more people find my channel and things that might be helpful for them as well. All right. Thank you guys for listening. Stay true to who you are in your beautiful heart of hearts.